Okay, let's check out what the whiny little bitches are up to. They got this thing that was printed in the New York Times by this Octoroon, this very light-skinned black females. And this is the other thing about like the most radical blacks are always like this light-skinned blacks because I think they feel guilty about being light-skinned, and so they have to. So they feel that they're not accepted by white society and blacks, like charcoal blacks, they sort of feel suspicious about them. They're a little too light. They have naming. Blacks have names for everything. So they don't really trust them. So they have to like show that they are really militant blacks. So this black female came up with this so-called Project 1619. They're regurgitating the usual bullshit. There's some people who live in the past lane, if you know what I mean, living in the past lane, get it. And they're still talking about slavery. And here we are, read it for yourself, slaves in Virginia. Never talking about the fact that the slavery right now in Africa, millions of black slaves are sold to other blacks and Arabs and stuff like that. But they don't want to talk about that. So here we have now they put together, and they want to teach this in school, by the way. They want to brainwash white kids with this nonsense. Our democracy, founding ideals. Yeah, all right. Listen, you're lucky to be in this country. The best thing that happened to you was your ancestor enslaved. So now you enjoy the highest standard of living of anyone else in the world. Back in the 1930s, there was this ne'er do well, this huckster, like they all are hucksters, like this John Lewis and Jeremiah uh, Cummings and R. Sharpton and Jesse Jackson. They're all pimps. They're all like hucksters. They're all looking for free money from the white man. So there was this guy by the name of Marcus Garvey, and he had this thing going called the Back to Africa movement. Okay, well, how many blacks do you think went back to Africa? None. All right, none. And so here we have they're bashing America, but none of them is willing to go back to, you know, they always celebrate Africa. They all walk around with this pendant, with Africa picture on it, but none of them have even been there. None of them would even want to go there. If you want to understand brutality, yeah, the brutality that takes place in black areas every single day of your life, the brutality and the sadism of black criminality. If you want to talk about brutality, let me say something. Blacks were treated with immense humanity by the white uh, owners, okay? And in fact, white working class people up north actually died like 3 years uh, sooner, all right? 3 years prematurely than black slaves, okay? It was white working class people that were suffering up north and working in mines, working in factories, working in construction, where if you got into an accident, you were fired. If you broke a leg, if you fell off the roof or something like that, if you came down with black lung and brown lung, they fired you. They didn't have unemployment insurance. They didn't have OSHA. They didn't have workers' compensation back then. They treated white working class people like animals. All right, and okay, so here we have the usual bullshit about America's slavery, blah 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 blah. Whiny little bitches, they're whiny little bitches. The myth about physical and racial difference were used to justify slavery, and are still they still believe today because there's every reason to believe that there are in fact racial differences. Blacks on the average have IQs which is borderline retarded. Okay, now we're talking about 75, 80 on the IQ test. So this still holds. America holds onto undemocratic assumption. Blah blah blah. Blah. That some people deserve more power. And that's right. Without white people, this country will look like Haiti, Venezuela, and every other shithole country on the planet. Okay, centuries black music. Let me say something about black music. Black music used to be childlike. The blues were childlike. Okay, I mean they look like they were written by 3 year olds. Now modern day so-called black music, so-called rap, is nothing but the sadistic orgy of violence, hatred. I mean, not just ordinary hatred. We're talking about foaming at the mouth hatred because the most racism comes from black hoods, okay, where we have violence against white people, against Hispanic, against Asians. The racial assaults. I mean, you look at my videos below. You see what I'm talking about. I have videos of blacks attacking Asians, attacking Jews, attacking whites, attacking women. The murderous sadism that and it's preached in rap. Rap is preaching of racial hatred and racism toward everybody. White music is about love. Black music is about hatred. And you can watch the rest of this bullshit. Put it. You can slow it down. You can see the kind of traffic jam. Are you kidding me? Look at this idiots whining little bitches, whining little bitches. Sugar. They're talking about sugar as coming from. I mean, they're so ignorant. They don't know anything about history. They don't know anything about history. Oh, look at that scowl, huh? Look at that scowl. Get a load of that scowl, huh? They with that stare. They stare ready to commit murder at any minute. Scowling, always scowling, and they celebrate this nobodies. This is the author over here. This really white woman with the red hair. She looks like that other white woman who pretends to be black. And of course, NBA uh, basketball players. The NBA, the very term owner, has come under fire. Players, most of whom are black, assert self-determination. Well, why don't you quit? Why don't you quit the NBA and set up your own league? Let's have a black league and a white league the way we used to have, and everybody was happy. Remember the Negro League? Remember that? How far did that go? Nobody went to see the game. Not even blacks went to see the game. And there you have, ladies and gentlemen, the usual whiny little bitches, the whiny little bitches, always whining. But let me say something. This is all really the fault of just white liberals. Blacks, let's face it, could never do anything on their own. They cannot even organize an orgy in a whorehouse. You got that? They cannot even organize an orgy in a whorehouse.